is frightening because he's probably going to win at this point. I guess people, maybe say Cuomo or something, but probably not. When you look at kind of the west of the country, do you think that there's rising awareness to how bad this is? Or do you think it's kind of like people don't really know? I mean, I think more people are starting to be aware of the fact that, radical Islam is a threat.
The bad news is that a lot of young people might think Mamdani is really cool because he doesn't look like an old style socialist. He doesn't look like Trotsky or Mao with the freaky mustache and beard, the kind of ancient type of stereotype. He's a very suave guy. He used to dabble in rap, being a rapper, and he's got this sort of he certainly knows his way around social media 10 times better than either Curtis Sliwa or Cuomo. And however, he is also at the same time, and this is the silver lining of Mamdani, he is a millstone around the neck of the Democratic Party because, in a way, he forces the party to take a stance on him. If they say no, then they are repudiating their own activist base, which is very pro Mamdani, very pro socialist. If they say yes, they cut themselves off from the mainstream of the country. It's difficult to see, for example, Democrats winning even in purple and blue states on a Mamdani agenda. So I think this is why the leadership of the Democratic Party is quite worried about Mamdani.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's interesting because I don't know, this new kind of Democrat, these socialists, I guess he's kind of like an AOC type. I think they're friends. She's New York also, I think more like the Bronx. But they think that that's the winning message. They think that that will win with most of America or something, not just kind of the radical people. They think that is the way to win. And sometimes you see articles that are like this from liberals. They'll be like, oh, if we just leaned into this even more, then we'd reach normal people. Because actually, these old school Democrats, they're super boring and they're not really hard on the trends like we are. So maybe if we lean into that, it'll help us. What do you think would happen if, let's say, someone like AOC runs for president?
Oh, she would have absolutely no chance against any Republican, whether a rhino or a right wing Republican. Her prospects, I would say, would be close to zero. But let's remember that there is a similar debate on the Republican side. Uh, on the Republican side, you have the rhino or the centrist wing of the Republican Party, and they say things like, "Don't move too far to the right because you're going to alienate the people in the middle." Now, if America is a centrist country, then they're probably right. But if America is a center right country, then the middle is actually somewhat to the right, and a conservative candidate can and will win. Now, on the Democratic side, the centrist Democrats or the somewhat centrist Democrats will say we need to move more to the center. But that voice has been drowned out in recent, not only years, but decades, ever since Obama, by the Democratic money and by the Democratic activists who basically say, no, our problem in the Democratic Party is not that we are too left wing. It is that we have a rather decrepit old guard represented by people like Pelosi and Schumer. We need to bring in young, hip people. It doesn't matter if they're very left wing. That's not the problem at all. What Mamdani is showing is you can be very left wing, but if you have a good shtick and a good sales pitch and you're suave, your policies, in fact, can win. Now, winning in New York City is one thing. First of all, can you show you can even win in New York State, and let alone winning in the country at large?
Right.